While I was digging around for my next video idea, I stumbled onto this site that had just picked up Site of the Day over on awards only a few days back on July 3rd. What grabbed me was the opening. The instant the page loads, it runs this really cool little reveal sequence. Rings of color burst out from the middle of the screen. A cluster of product shots come rushing in around a logo, and after a short pause, the whole thing lifts away to hand you off to the page beneath. I loved how it felt, so I figured rebuilding it would be the perfect way to unpack exactly how something like that comes together, one GSAP timeline at a time. So that's what I did, a landing page reveal built from scratch with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, driven by GSAP and split text. Here's how mine plays out. A stack of circle swipes open across the screen. 4 food shots come swooping in from the center and drift toward the corners with a gentle floating motion while a logo eases up in the middle. It all holds for a moment, then scales up and flies off past the edges, and the very instant it clears, the hero underneath springs to life. The nav slides in, the headline bounces up letter by letter, the footer rises, and the product shot climbs into frame. Across the video, I'll take you through the whole build, from the markup to the styling, and finally the animation logic that stitches it all together. If you'd like to access the source code for this one, plus hundreds of other micro projects and a fresh website template every month, take a look at the Pro membership linked down in the description. If the channel's been useful to you, drop a like and hit subscribe while you're here. Alright, let's jump into the code. First of all, we'll set up the preloader, the wrapper that holds the entire opening sequence. It's a single div with a class of preloader, and everything for the intro lives inside it. Next, inside the preloader, we'll add the background, just a div with a class of preloader background, the solid dark panel that sits behind everything as our base layer. Then, right after it, we'll lay down 4 revealers, each a div with a class of preloader revealer, numbered 1 through 4. These are the colored panels that open up one after another with that circle vibe, and the numbers let us give each one its own color later in the CSS. Next, the items. Inside the preloader, we'll add a wrapper div with a class of items, and inside that, 4 more divs with a class of item, from item 1 through item 4. Each one wraps a single image. These are the 4 food shots that fly in from the center and settle around the logo. Then, the logo, right below the items, will drop in one more div with a class of preloader logo with our logo.png inside it. This is the mark that fades up in the middle as the items arrive and later sails off the top as everything clears. And that's the preloader done. Next, we'll step outside the preloader and build the nav. We'll add a nav element and inside it 2 pieces. First, a div with a class of nav logo holding our logo image again, and then a div with a class of nav items holding our links. This is the navigation that reveals in once the preloader has cleared away. Next, the hero section, the part of the page that's left standing once the intro is over. We'll add a section with a class of hero and build it up in 3 pieces. First, inside it, a div with the class of hero header, holding an H1 with our headline. This is the copy that builds in letter by letter. Then, still inside the hero, a div with a class of hero image. Inside that, we'll add a div with a class of hero image background, the colored circle that sits behind the product, and then our product image, item6.png, on top. So the circle scales in first and the product rises up over it. Finally, the footer. We'll add a div with class of hero footer, holding 2 short paragraphs that sit down in the bottom corners and rise into place at the very end. And that's the markup done. Next, let's get to the styling. First of all, we'll get the housekeeping out of the way. Up top, we pull in our 2 fonts, Barlow Condensed and Instrument Sans. Then we set up a handful of color variables in the root, running from a light cream through a gold, an orange, and a red down to a near black. These are the colors we'll reuse everywhere, both for the type and for those revealer panels. Then a quick universal reset, zeroing out margins and paddings and switching to border box sizing. Next, the shared type styles. The headings, links, and paragraphs all get the light cream color, all get uppercased, and all get a tight line height, since that's the look we're after across the board. Then each one gets its own font. The heading uses Barlow Condensed, heavy and scaling fluidly, so it looks right on any screen. The links use it too, a bit lighter, with the underline stripped off, and the paragraphs use Instrument Sans. Next, the preloader itself. We fix it to the screen, full width and full height, Give it overflow hidden so nothing spills out during the animation, and push its Z index up so it sits above everything else while the intro plays. Next, the background and the revealers, which share most of their setup. We absolutely position them both to fill the screen with their transform origin at the center. Then the background gets the dark color. The revealers each start with the clip path collapsed to nothing in the center, so they're hidden right now, ready to open outward, and we add will change on clip path since that's what will animate. Then, one by one, we hand each revealer its own color. The gold, the orange, the red, and finally the same dark as the background, so the last one blends right into it. Next, the items. First the wrapper, filling the screen. Then each item sits pinned to the dead center, sized as a square, and started at scale 0, so it's invisible until we animate it in. And the images inside just fill their box with object fit cover. Next, the preloader logo. Same idea, pinned to the center but a little smaller, started at half scale and 0 opacity so it can fade and grow in later. That's the whole preloader styled and primed. Next, the nav. We fix it to the top, full width with some padding, and lay it out as a flex row, pushing the logo to one side and the links to the other. The nav logo gets its transform origin at the top left, so it scales in from that corner, and the links sit in a row with a gap between them. Next, the hero, the section left standing once the intro clears. We position it relatively, full height, with that same dark background, overflow hidden, and a Z index below the preloader, so it sits underneath. Then the hero header gets anchored near the top third, centered, and capped at a comfortable width, so the headline wraps nicely, and the footer gets pinned to the bottom as a flex row, so its two paragraphs sit in opposite corners. Next, the hero image. We anchor it to the bottom center and let it hang a little below the edge. Inside it, the circle background fills the box, gets the orange color, and a full border radius to make it round, starting at scale 0 so it can pop in later. Then, the product image sits centered on top, rotated slightly, and pushed down out of view to start, so it can rise up into the circle when we animate it. Then, one shared rule for the split text pieces. The nav words, the footer lines, and the headings characters all get set to inline block, since transforms won't render on inline elements, and we add will change on transform ahead of the animation. Finally, a quick responsive tweak. On narrower screens, we stack the nav links into a column, widen the hero header so it isn't cramped, and bump up the hero image so the product reads well on a smaller screen. And that's the styling done. Next, we'll jump into the JavaScript and bring the whole thing to life. First of all, we'll bring in our dependencies at the top. GSAP, which drives all of our animation, and split text, which we'll use to break the nav links, the heading, and the footer copy into individual pieces. Then one quick line to register split text as a GSAP plugin so it's ready to use. Next, we'll wrap everything in a document fonts ready callback. Since we're splitting text into lines and words, we want to be sure the fonts have finished loading first. Otherwise, the text could reflow after we've already split it, and our lines would end up in the wrong place. So everything from here on lives inside this. First thing inside, we'll split our text. We run split text over 3 things. First, the nav links, breaking them into words, with masking turned on so each word sits inside its own clipping wrapper, and we give them a class of nav-word. Then the heading, which we split into lines, words, and characters all at once, so the characters stay grouped into their proper words and lines. And then the footer paragraphs split into masked lines, so the nav and footer are set up for clean masked reveals, and the heading is broken all the way down to individual letters. Next, we'll set our starting states, so everything is hidden before the reveal begins. We drop the nav logo to scale 0, we push the nav words and the footer lines down by 100% of their own height, tucking them out of sight below their masks, and we take the heading characters, nudge them down a touch, fade them out, and shrink them to half scale, ready to pop in. So at this point, none of the hero content is visible yet, it's all queued up and waiting. Next, we'll define where the items go. We set up an array called item targets, 1 entry per item, and each one holds an X and a Y position, along with a rotation. These are the 4 resting spots the items fly out to, spread toward the corners, 1 to the top left, 1 to the top right, and 2 along the bottom, each turned at a slightly different angle so it feels loose and natural, rather than lined up. Then, we'll work out where those same items exit to. The idea is that each item leaves in the exact same direction it flew in from, just carried much further out and turned a little harder, so it reads as one continuous path rather than a separate move. So we set an exit distance and we map over our targets, multiplying each x and y by that distance to push it way off screen and bumping up the rotation as it goes. Finally, a couple of small things we'll need. We grab all the items into an array so we can loop over them, and we set up an empty array to hold our floating tweens. The gentle bobbing loops will start once each item lands so we can stop them cleanly later. And last, we create our master timeline with a small delay so nothing kicks off the very instant the page loads. This is what we'll build the entire sequence onto step by step. Next, we'll start adding the actual animation phase by phase. First up, the revealers. We animate their clip path from that tiny center circle out to a full 100%, so each one opens up and floods the screen. We give it a stagger, so they fire one after another instead of all together, and that's what creates the layered wipe as the gold, orange and red sweep across in sequence. Next, the moment they've finished, we hide all the revealers instantly with a set to display none, since the dark background underneath is the exact same color as the last revealer. You never notice them vanish, and it saves us fading a stack of colored panels, which would look muddy. Next, the items fly in. We loop over each one and tween it from the center out to its target position, scaling up from 0 to full and rotating into place. The first item starts a little before the revealers fully finish, so the two phases overlap and feel connected, and the rest stagger in just behind it. And inside an on-start callback, the moment each item begins moving, we kick off its floating tween, a gentle up and down bob that loops forever, with a randomized speed and delay on each one, so they drift out of sync and feel alive rather than mechanical. We store each of those in our floating tweens array, so we can stop them later. Next, the logo. We fade it up from half scale to full and from 0 opacity to 1, starting it at the same time as the items, so it grows in right alongside them in the center. Then, once everything's settled, we hide the preloader background with another set to display none. The hero section behind it is the same dark color, so again, the switch is invisible. Then we add a 1 second empty tween, which does nothing but hold, giving the composition a beat to breathe before it flies apart. Next, the exit. First, we add a callback that kills all our floating tweens, so the bobbing stops cleanly and doesn't fight the exit motion. Then we loop over the items again, and this time tween each one out to its exit position, scaling it up even larger as it goes. Because those exit positions continue the same line each item came in on, they read as flying straight back out the way they arrived, right past the camera, and the logo goes with them, sailing straight up and off the top of the screen. Next, we reveal the hero content, and this all changes straight onto the exit, so it flows as one continuous moment. First, the nav logo scales in, and the nav links follow, their words rising up out of their masks with a small stagger. Then the heading, character by character. This is the one with the elastic keys, so each letter springs up past its mark and settles with a soft little bounce, which gives the headline that playful pop. Right after, the footer lines rise up out of their masks too. Then, the hero image. First, the circle background scales in from 0, and then the product image rises up into it, climbing into frame over the circle. And finally, once the whole reveal is done, we hide the preloader entirely with one last set to display none, cleaning it out of the way now that the hero has taken over. And that's the whole thing complete. The revealers wipe open, the items fly in and float around the logo, everything holds for a beat and then sails back out, and the hero underneath springs to life to take its place, all built onto a single timeline from start to finish. Hope you found this one useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.